We have received word that music legend Ozzy Osbourne has died.
In early July 2025, Ozzy Osbourne, at 76, took the stage in Birmingham, the very city where his music career began, for his Back to the Beginning tour's poignant finale. Despite his age and ongoing health battles, including severe spinal issues, multiple surgeries, and Parkinson's disease, he defied warnings from his team to stand on his own for this last performance. His voice, though weathered, still powerfully conveyed decades of metal history. The night was made even more special by a surprise reunion with his former Black Sabbath bandmates, a rare treat given past tensions and health concerns. Fans flocked from over 2,000 miles away, forcing the venue to expand its perimeter by 80 feet to accommodate the unexpected crowd. After the show, Ozzy kept a low profile, offering only a brief public thank you to his fans and wife, Sharon. Yet, behind the scenes, he was diligently completing his tell-all memoir, Last Rites, just days before his peaceful passing at his Los Angeles home on July 22, 2025. Surrounded by loved ones, Ozzy delivered his most stunning revelation. While the exact cause of death wasn't immediately confirmed, reports indicated a significant health decline in the 2 weeks prior, with him confined to a hospital bed at home under 24-hour care and heavily sedated. His private funeral was held in Malibu, with a public memorial planned for August in London, promising live tributes on a stage mirroring his iconic 1992 No More tour's setup. Ozzy's death marked not just the end of an artist's life, but the closing chapter of one of rock's most chaotic and unfiltered legacies. Unknown to many at the time of his final concert, Ozzy had chosen to expose a deeply personal and unflattering secret guarded for years. Within the pages of Last Rites, completed just before Ozzy's death and slated for release later this year, is a no-holds-barred account of his life. Sources close to the publishing team describe it as his most raw and direct narrative, starting with his studio return in the early 2000s and covering 2 decades, including health battles, cancelled tours, failed collaborations, and family disputes. The memoir's unfiltered tone is striking. An early reader noted Ozzy's voice sounds like a man running out of time, desperate to unburden himself, reflecting on incidents with a mix of detachment and regret. A major theme is his addiction to chaos, admitting he often created dysfunction, even when sober, as his brain seemed to reject stability. He details his extensive therapy for substance abuse, sex addiction, anger management, and depression, with a chapter titled No Apologies, where he recounts a therapist's stark observation that he'd never learned to live without Cressida truth. He found more terrifying than his Parkinson's diagnosis. Ozzy also delves into his family life, particularly the tensions caused by his absence as a father, acknowledging fame always came first and expressing guilt over missing his children's growth. A chapter titled The Bedroom and the Grave reportedly focuses on his private failings, including emotional distance and infidelity, presented as a candid ledger of his wrongs. The publisher confirmed the memoir will be released, unedited, raising concerns among some family members about potential renewed pain. This isn't a polished rock star story. It's an admission of every misstep, written by a man who had already said his goodbyes. When Ozzy Osbourne married Sharon in July 1982, their volatile relationship faced immediate challenges due to his erratic behavior, heavy drinking, and unmanageability. Sharon, then 29, became both wife and manager, striving to build a home while steering the career of an unpredictable artist. Their decades-long marriage endured turmoil, relapse, betrayal, and public scrutiny, held together by an undeniable, if often misunderstood, bond. Early years were marked by violent, drug and alcohol-fueled arguments, some turning physical, leading to Ozzy's arrest and court-ordered rehab in the late 1980s. Sharon stayed, believing she could save him from self-destruction. She worked to keep their children, me, Kelly, and Jack grounded amidst the chaos, often serving as both parents while Ozzy prioritized tours and recording sessions. Despite everything, they remained publicly united. Sharon became central to Ozzy's brand, shaping his public image and later launching their reality TV show, The Osbournes, in the early 2000s. The show, however, also inadvertently exposed deeper issues like Ozzy's slurred speech, confusion, and emotional distance from his children, with Sharon later admitting it was only a fraction of their struggles. By the 2010s, Ozzy's health declined, requiring surgeries for injuries, leading to infections, falls, and neurological complications. Sharon remained by his side until 2016, when undeniable cracks appeared. Sharon suspected something amiss due to Ozzy's deliberate emotional distance. In spring 2016, a private confrontation led her to move out for several weeks, cancelling all press events. Friends described her as devastated and humiliated, needing space to decide the marriage's fate. One alarming incident saw Sharon isolated for days, refusing food and sleep, culminating in a mental health emergency. Despite this, she returned home that summer, and the couple issued a joint statement about working through their issues. Ozzy vaguely admitted to a major mistake. Sharon, however, publicly reappeared with a hardened demeanor, stating she wasn't forgiving anything but simply choosing to stay. From then on, their marriage shifted, becoming more of a working partnership than a traditional one, marked by shared home, business, and an unbreakable history, but lacking emotional closeness. The full extent of what transpired during that time was only revealed in Ozzy's final days, confirming Sharon's long-held suspicions just days before his death. Ozzy's memoir finally confirmed the persistent tabloid rumors of his secret affair, with Michelle Pugh, a Los Angeles-based hair colorist, loosely connected to Sharon's beauty team. While Ozzy had previously denied their connection, the book lays it all bare. He writes that his relationship with Michelle was not a casual encounter but lasted nearly 4 years, from 2012 to 2016. Insiders familiar with the book say Ozzy admits it quickly became a second life, meeting her privately, sometimes under a staff member's name. He initially rationalized it as harmless, but stopped making excuses, enjoying the feeling of being away from everything. Ozzy describes Michelle as attentive, younger, and making him feel uncomplicated, writing in one unpublished excerpt that it was the only time in years where he didn't feel like Ozzy Osbourne. He claims he never planned to leave Sharon, but also never planned to end the affair. Michelle had previously given her own account during the public fallout, claiming their relationship was more than physical and that Ozzy was the love of her life, statements his representatives dismissed. Ozzy confirms in the book that he was in therapy throughout the affair but wasn't honest with his doctors, attending group sessions, saying the right things, and then meeting Michelle. A former assistant recalled Ozzy's irregular schedule by 2015, leading people to suspect substance abuse, never guessing the real reason. The truth surfaced in May 2016 when Sharon reportedly found emails and hotel receipts, confronting Ozzy, who admitted everything. According to last rites, the conversation was brief, and Sharon left the house that day, not returning for weeks. Ozzy writes he didn't try to stop her, feeling ashamed but also confused, believing the relationship with Michelle was a temporary escape, not a betrayal. He only understood the damage when Sharon stopped calling or texting. The chapter details how the press got wind of the affair through a leak from Michelle's team, causing the story to explode, what Ozzy described as the collapse point. The affair didn't just disrupt a marriage, it exposed years of hidden, emotional fractures, and in writing about it, Ozzy made clear that no tour, no comeback, and no amount of legacy could cover up what he called the ugliest decision of his life. After Sharon discovered the affair, Ozzy's life underwent a complete re-evaluation. The period immediately following the 2016 split was marked by a personal, professional, and emotional collapse described in the memoir as a reckoning. Ozzy was cut off from the very structure that had held his life together. He moved out of their shared home, his management team shrunk, and public appearances were cancelled. Behind the scenes, he entered a crisis intervention organized by close family and friends, referred to a specialist for compulsive behavior, not just substance abuse. Initially resistant, Ozzy agreed to check into a private facility after weeks of isolation and severe withdrawal. The 3-month therapy program focused on accountability, impulse control, and destructive patterns. Ozzy writes that the hardest part wasn't confronting his actions, but accepting he did them for inexplicable reasons, feeling addicted to bad decisions and too accustomed to others cleaning up his messes. During this time, Sharon publicly confirmed their separation but privately monitored his progress. A family friend revealed she agreed to attend a joint counseling session with him on the condition of public silence. Their first conversation. In nearly 2 months, Ozzy writes that he broke down during that session, realizing he had lost everything. Not because it was taken, but because he gave it away. Over the next several weeks, Sharon listened and asked hard questions, sometimes leaving without promises, sometimes at a private residence. Reconciliation by one of their children began as they talking were together two people in West Hollywood, assessing the damage after a disaster. While Sharon's spokesperson eventually any formal reunion moved back in. Insiders said the dinner was part of a longer boundaries process. Were set. Sharon had full control over his schedule, business dealings, and press obligations, making it clear there would be no second chances. A person close to the family recalled her telling him directly, "If I even think you're lying again, we're done." In Last Rites, Ozzy doesn't paint this period as a comeback, but as learning to live in the same house as the person he had nearly destroyed. The first few weeks were quiet. Even the dogs sensed the tension. But gradually, structure returned. They began working together again on music and public events, traveling to Europe later that year for a short tour. By the end of 2016, they were appearing side by side at award shows. Sharon's insistence on full transparency, including a separate therapist for couples sessions and regular check-ins, helped stabilize things. Ozzy, according to the memoir, accepted her control without pushback. He writes that redemption came in fragments, being allowed back into the house, being invited to dinner with the kids, being included in a family photo again. Each moment, he said, felt like being given back something he had carelessly thrown away. While the past couldn't be erased, Ozzy viewed this period as the closest thing he'd ever had to starting over, not with a clean slate, but with a clear understanding of what he stood to lose. When Last Rites was announced, many assumed it would be a final reflection on Ozzy Osbourne's music, health, and addiction. However, early excerpts revealed its deeper, unfiltered nature. Publishers and family members made no effort to tone it down after his death, as Ozzy had left strict instructions for its exact, unedited release. Some fans defended him, citing his consistent transparency about his flaws, while others were less forgiving, viewing the book as an attempt to reframe his mistakes. One radio host noted the book read like a man seeking peace but not fully taking blame. For Sharon Osbourne, the memoir brought a new wave of public scrutiny. She made no statement after its release and avoided interviews for weeks. Having read the manuscript before Ozzy died and discussed its publication. Still, insiders say the public reaction reopened old wounds that had never fully healed. She reportedly told friends she respected Ozzy's decision to tell the truth, but was unprepared for the scale of the reaction it caused. The children, who had largely remained silent during earlier controversies, also remained quiet, with reporters noting they didn't publicly promote or acknowledge the memoir. According to family insiders, there was disagreement among them about whether the book should have been released at all. While Ozzy had written it to be a full account of his life, its impact on those around him is harder to control. Ultimately, Last Rites fulfills Ozzy's intention. It closes his story on his own terms, with the kind of brutal honesty that had always defined him. Love it or hate it, no one could say it wasn't real. And in that final act, he reminds everyone that legends don't always leave clean legacies. Sometimes they leave the truth.